gets you to do something spectacular? What makes a person change their mind? Everyone wants to call everybody an anti-vaxxer. But I've pointed out there's ex-vaxxers. In fact, they tend to be the most powerful part of this vaccine discussion. We all saw a story that moved us very, very deeply. It was one of these people that never believed vaccines were an issue until something tragic happened to them.
I was in the kitchen changing, emptying the dishes from the dishwasher, and I heard her scream, and I knew right away. She came out screaming that he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, and I ran over and just fell on my knees. My daughter's standing next to me, and just looking at her little brother lifeless in my wife's arms, and I couldn't believe it, I didn't think it was real.
When the detectives came in, they asked us about Nicholas's history, and as healthy and happy as he was, I had told him he was recently vaccinated. That was the only thing in my mind that was sticking out. And in coming weeks, it would wake me up at night. I can't explain it. Like, instantly in the middle of the night, I would wake up and I would have to go research, because I just knew in my heart it was vaccines.
All right, so I'm being joined by Nick Catone and Sonia Da Silva from New Jersey. You guys have just been there at the state capitol. First of all, Nick, it's an amazing thing to watch. You and I have gotten to hang out some, and again, always having to talk about this tragedy that happened in your life, but you're doing something about it. You're in New Jersey, you're standing up and you're representing us, you're representing the people, you're representing truth at the state capitol. So I really want to thank you for that. Tell me, just give me a sense, Nick, of what it was like at the Capitol today. What's happening there? How many people showed up? Are we getting a good turnout?
Yeah, there was a lot of people in there. There was an overflow in the room. They had to set up two more rooms with microphones, TVs in there for everybody to kind of follow in.
This is the first time I think, as far as I know, you've sort of gotten active in a political way and showed up at the state capitol. What made you make that decision to sort of, leave this issue, where you're suffering, you're dealing with it at home, and get involved? And what's it like being at the Capitol? For someone that's never done it, what would you say it's like to be around all of these people?
I've had one experience, a different topic, just with the trying to legalize MMA in New York years ago. They brought me out in Albany, but it's it's definitely there's a lot that goes into it. There was a lot of people that came out. A lot of people told their stories. A lot of people testified. It almost kind of seemed like a lot of them had their minds made up already before we even testified. And it's kind of upsetting. What had happened, and I'm just kind of still just sinking it all in right now.
All right. So Sonia, give me a sense of what is this law trying to do, and what do you feel is the climate? You've been here before. You've been very active in this movement in New Jersey. Just so people know, New Jersey is a major medical hub. That state is filled with maybe as many hospitals as any other state in the country. So it's a climate. There's no doubt that this is a frontline state when it comes to taking away rights and letting the medical institutions just decide what are the facts on the issue. But what's going on with this bill, and what do you think is the future in New Jersey?
Right. My opinion is they were bought already. They already had decided this bill before it was even put out there. They introduced this bill. Actually, they didn't introduce this bill. What happens in New Jersey is you have to introduce the bill first. You're supposed to give the public 5 days notice to know that it's going to be put for hearing. What they did was they posted the agenda. Today's agenda was posted Thursday night after 5 o'clock, day before a religious holiday. And it was posted on a week where they know that a lot of people are away for spring break. There's a lot of people not paying attention. They didn't introduce the bill, so we could not see what the bill says. We haven't even, till right now, we still don't know what this bill looks like. It hasn't been published. They introduced it and heard it right on the same day, which they're not technically supposed to do. My gut instinct is that they had already voted on this bill before we even testified, because there was no pharmaceutical lobbyists in the meeting room. So my gut is telling me that they had already decided, and we only had 2 people who voted in our favor, and everyone voted for this bill, despite the amount of testimony, the amount of people we had show up today.
Sounds like the same thing that happened in SB 277. We had thousands and thousands of parents wrapped around the building, and no one seemed to care. It's hard as citizens to find time out of your day to drive across the state and speak. Every time one of these laws passes in any state, it affects the rest of us. So thank you for being on the front lines. We're going to continue to follow this story in New Jersey. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, Phil.
All right, great. So look it. You know, when we think about the future of this country, we have to think about what's going on. Who is behind these pushes for vaccine mandates, for crushing the religious exemption in New Jersey? It's the pharmaceutical industry. It's the same people that are producing OxyContin, the same people that produce Vioxx and other drugs, where you watch those lawyers say, if you've been injured by blah, 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 or had these side effects, then call me so I can make $1 million and you can make a few bucks. This is constantly happening on television. These are the people that are buying your politicians. I've said it over and over and over again. The pharmaceutical industry is the most powerful industry in Washington. They're outspending oil and gas 2 to 1. And guess what? They are also buying all of your media. Your television is being driven by the pharmaceutical industry to the tune of essentially 75% of advertising in television is coming from the pharmaceutical industry. And when you know that that pharmaceutical industry is giving money to a guy named Dr. Richard Pan, who's a senator and a politician, to pass laws that's going to have, fact checkers, thought police, who do you think they think are going to be a part of that? It's going to be pharmaceutical industry writing your thoughts, making it there's only certain things you can say. We could see a future where the media is all saying the exact same thing, that no longer are reporters looking into an issue, but they're just told what they're supposed to tell us. It's written by somebody, one of these lobbyists in industry that's buying our politicians and buying the television. Can you imagine a world where Fox, ABC, all are telling you the same thing? You never what happens. You're going to have to be aware and say, oh my God. Jefferson sitting and in the press that does its own investigations, that doesn't suit the state or suit the whole or the larger argument or the consensus, that it goes out on its own. Those reporters that chase a story all by themselves against all odds and bring safety and truth and reality to us. When we start hearing everybody say the same thing, I would be to be extremely nervous. Is that moment upon us? Did you see this video?
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities.
The El Paso communities.
Eastern Iowa communities.
Mid-Michigan communities.
We're extremely quality balance that City of Fort produces.
But we are concerned about
plaguing our country.
Sharing of bias and false facts become all too alarming. Some media publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This truly is dangerous to our democracy. Folks, you've got to wake up. I did not get that memo. And if I ever get that memo, I will never read it. That's what Highwire is about. We're shooting from the hip. We're bringing you the truth as we find it, and we're giving you the locations of where our information comes from. Do not take our word for it. Go to the sites and take the actions and look into the things we're saying. And the way you do that is share I CAN. Type in I CAN right now. If you're watching on YouTube, type in 22333 into your text and text I CAN, I-C-A-N. And that way, we can let you know when we're bringing you a breaking story. We can let you know if we've received a memo that just told us that we're going to all tell you the same thing. It is time to wake up, America. It is time to realize that this is why we were born. This is the generation that's going to fight for this country. This is the generation right now, if you are watching this, if you're getting your friends to watch this, you realize you are important. You are that American we dream of. You are that founding father. You are that Martin Luther King. You and only you can make this a nation that still believes in the citizen over the industry, in the person and the identity over the government. It's our time. This is your network. This is your show. And we're going to be here every week until they arrest us. So until then, and until next week, this is Highwire.